Now, some of my peers have described the McLaren road cars as vanilla. I don't actually subscribe to that. Now, make no mistake about it, the 12C Spider is no happy accident. Right from the conceptual stage of building this supercar, the McLaren engineering team had the Spider on the drawing board exactly at the same time as the Coupe. And that has resulted in an open-top driving experience without compromise. And we're so often forced to accept not just weight, but sometimes chassis flex through driving any form of Spider or convertible. Not the case here. And of course, the car I drove at Le Mans, the F1, is now, well, it's a classic, or 20 years old. But I must say that while I'm blasting around here in the 12C Spider, it's not unfamiliar. This does carry that same DNA, not just in looks, but in the way it feels, it handles, and I think that's as much a reflection of the man himself, Ron Dennis, as it is the cars he makes. Ron is a perfectionist. He's a man for whom excellence is his only standard, whether it's his racing cars or his road cars, and everyone that works for him. 616 horsepower. I mean, that's right up there. So make no mistake, this is a bloody serious automobile. Twin turbo, V8, and okay, I'm only up to 137 there, but it'll top out at 204 miles an hour. God, I wish I could find somewhere to drive it that quick. Whoa. Through the steering is magnificent. It's very precise, lighter than I had imagined, and that is obviously down to sort of the weight balance in the car and the very sophisticated suspension. It's not like an electromagnetic suspension system. Instead, it's effectively static, but it stiffens it up for track use and softens it for the road. Just over 60 miles an hour with applying about 25 bar of brake pressure. Up comes this huge air dam, and think about that. That was Formula One technology that got banned because it was too much of a performance advantage. But thankfully, no such rules apply when you're in a road car. God, it's quick coming down here. Holy Moses. It just makes me laugh and smile all the way around. Now, something I'm very fast becoming used to, which is almost something you should never take for granted, is the lightning fast shifts that we get nowadays in these top super sports cars. Seamless shift gearbox, they're calling it. 7 speeds, a wet dual clutch, and it preloads the next gear. So when you pull on the lever, it just, I mean, I can't explain it to you. If you've never driven one, you have to, because it is the ultimate in gear shifting. Let me tell you, as far as my on-track experiences have gone in a road car, remember, this was definitely one of the most extreme. The 12C Spider allows you as the driver to get the most out of both the car and yourself. Any car that you can take right to the edge where you're allowed to be in complete synchronicity with the latest in technology is definitely not dull. So for me, this is definitely a supercar for our generation. I thought to give us a guided tour of the technology behind the new McLaren, I'd chat with Simon. Simon, so this car, I mean, it looks so simple, especially the sort of tub, carbon fiber tub. But of course, there's so much clever technology that goes into making something simple, isn't there?
Yes, yeah, there is. The piece de resistance of the 12C is the single piece carbon fiber moulding, which is a tub. It's the same piece for the coupe or the Spider, which provides the rigidity for the suspension to work against.
So that's quite amazing, because how are you managing to get that same chassis rigidity without basically adding a lot of weight?
Okay, so basically the tub has hollow mouldings down the side, so we built the inherent strength into the tub originally. There is no other structure. The body panels are just cladding for the car. So if you take the roof off, it doesn't reduce the torsional rigidity of the vehicle. So it's able to be the same part for the coupe or the Spider.
Amazing. So really, between this and the coupe, not much of a weight difference?
No, the only additional weight is the hydraulic mechanism for the convertible hardtop roof, so which is, I think it's 40 kilograms on.
Tell me about this, because I can't see a front roll bar, anti-sway bar as they call it here, and a rather unusual hydraulic setup for the front suspension. That's quite proprietary to you guys, isn't it?
Yeah, that is unique to the 12C. We wanted a car that was compliant and comfortable on the road, but also would set ultimate track times and have high roll stiffness on the track. So basically this car doesn't have sway bars. We've got hydraulically interlinked dampers instead, and by increasing or reducing the hydraulic pressure in the suspension system, we're able to increase or reduce the roll stiffness of the vehicle.
For most people who drive this on the road, is that what allows the car to have sort of the dual life that it needs to have?
It is. It's basically this car has variable spring stiffness, so the wheels are able to move when it's on the road, giving it a very compliant ride. But then by just turning a switch and increasing the hydraulic pressure in the system, we can make a very stiff spring stiffness, which gives it good roll control on the track.
And of course, as we get to the back here, you couldn't get the engine any lower, could you? Or further forward?
So it's a dry sump 3.8 litre V8, which is mounted very low in the chassis, as you can see from there.
Why did you go with small turbos on this? I mean, they have to rev so much higher, don't they?
Okay, so it's a downsized engine, so it's a smaller V8 but turbocharged, and the intention was to make it feel as naturally aspirated as possible.
Yeah.
So with smaller turbos, a very small air path to the engine, it reduces the lag, and the smaller turbo can spool up quicker, so it's starting to spin at 2,000 RPM and producing full boost by 3,000 RPM. So when you drove the car earlier, you felt that you're not able to perceive much lag.
This exhaust layout, I imagine, allows for, I mean, you're allowing the suspension to stay free at the rear, but it is a very unusual pathway out the rear of the car. Tell us the thinking behind that.
Okay, so there's two main reasonings for bringing the exhaust up and over. The first one is to give a very clean diffuser packaging space, so we're able to take the diffuser from the bottom of the structure up to the rear bumper with very little in the way, so you get clean airflow under the car. And the second one is so not to compromise the packaging space of the rear suspension. So we're able to keep that nice and pure and get the correct kinematics from the rear suspension.
And of course it looks really good.
It does look good.
So obviously for anyone that, generally a lot of our fans watching our show and enthusiasts worldwide, McLaren equals Formula One, and I know that sort of flow down, transfer the technology from Formula One to this car, to the road car division is a pretty direct line, isn't it?
It is, yes. Yeah, a lot of the engineers who are involved with the concept and the design development of this vehicle have moved across from the racing department, and we're housed under the one roof back at the McLaren Technology Centre.
It's quite amazing. Well, thank you very much, Simon, for giving us the little insight behind the car. Check back each week for more on your eBay Motors mobile app.